Hey guys, I have a little bit of an update because my medications for this next IVF cycle were delivered today. So I kind of thought that I would go through just the new protocol that we're going to be using, which is quite a bit different than last time. I was on the antagonist protocol last time, and if you've seen my previous videos, you already know that I did not respond at all how my doctor was expecting. I kind of had a response that was more similar to someone who has diminished ovarian reserve, which does not match any of my lab work or anything that we've tested. I don't have any indications that I actually have diminished ovarian reserve, so it's kind of puzzling. I was given a few reasons that this could have happened. The first two are better reasons, just that I didn't respond well to that protocol, which I guess happens sometimes, or that I just had an off cycle, which I guess also happens. The third reason is that there actually is something going on with my ovaries and my eggs. So that's not as good of a reason. I would much prefer, have just had a bad cycle. But so my doctor thinks that this protocol, if there is something going on, that this should work a lot better. I'm kind of getting the feeling from my doctor that he views us more as unexplained right now, because there is no, other than my strange response to the meds, there's nothing indicating that there's anything wrong. So it's kind of puzzling, but we kind of just have to see what happens. So I'm going to be doing the Microdose Lupron Flare protocol this time, which is much more aggressive. It sounds kind of more complicated initially, but it's actually really simple. So I'm just going to go through all of the medications and then kind of explain, like how I'm going to be using them and how it's different from my last cycle, which it is quite a bit different. Okay, so these are most of my medications. I just kind of have one of each thing just to make it easier. So I'm starting off this cycle with birth control pills, which I did not do last time. I only have to take these for 11 days, and this will help by quieting down my ovaries and giving them a rest, and hopefully helping all the follicles to be at the same point so it's easier to stimulate them all more equally. I'm only going to be on it for 11 days so I don't get over suppressed, because we don't want that either. I don't really like taking these. I kind of feel a little bit crazy on these. I have taken the birth control pills in the past, but it was a different one, and it had different active ingredients. So I don't know what it is about these, but I've been calling them actually the pills of tears, because they've really been making me feel really upset, and it's really unlike me. So I'll be happy when I can stop taking these. So when I take my final pill of this, which is less than a week away now, I will have no medications for 2 days, and then on the third day they said I should start a light period, and that's also going to be the day of my baseline ultrasound and blood work. So that will be my cycle day 1, and as long as everything looks good at my baseline, I will get started with my Microdose Lupron, which is this one right here. It's actually, this is different than regular Lupron. This is actually, it's diluted, so it's not as strong, which is, why it's called microdose. It's a very, very small amount. And I will do this one, just this medication, for 2 days, twice a day, every 12 hours, 10 units, which is a really, really tiny amount. It's in these really tiny little syringes, and I only have to do 10 units, so you can see how small that is. It's only to right there, so it's only a couple drops. But anyway, so the way that this works is that at the beginning of the cycle, it actually Lupron usually has a suppression effect, but when it's used in the small doses, it actually has a stimulating effect for the first few days. So it actually causes an FSH flare. So that really stimulates all of the follicles to get growing, and the idea for me is to get all of them growing at the same time, and hopefully get just as many growing together as possible. So I will continue this medication every day, twice a day, every 12 hours, 10 units each time until the trigger. So this one really shouldn't be a big deal because those needles are so tiny. But after 2 days, then I will add in these two, which is Menopur and Gonal F. Now I've taken Gonal F before, which is this nice pen, which is super convenient because you just dial it up, you know, you press it, medication is in there. This one's empty. This is from last cycle. But I got 5 of these for this time. Last time I only used 2. So I'm not really sure how many I'm actually going to use because I'm not really sure how many days I'm going to end up stimming for. But my dosage this time is going to be 450 IU of these, which is the maximum dosage that you can actually dial up on this pen. So significantly higher than last time. In addition to that, I'll be using Menopur, which I haven't used before. This one does have to be mixed, but it's, you know, really simple. Really similar to mixing up a trigger or Cetrotide, so really not a big deal. But this one is FSH and LH, so this is another stimulating medication. I will be on 2 vials of this, and for a total of 600 IU of stims. So 450 of this one, 150 of this one. If you remember from my previous cycle, this is the medication that my doctor had wanted to add in if we wanted to continue with that IVF cycle, to try to push those smaller follicles to catch up and grow. So hopefully adding this in is helpful for me for this next cycle. I'm just glad we're doing something a bit different. I'm not entirely sure how many days I'm going to be stimming for, because I've heard from, you know, different people who've done this protocol, which is the Microdose Lupron Flare protocol, that some people have stimmed for only like 7 or 8 days, and other people have stimmed for like 13 days. I have enough medication to stim for 10 days. I have 5 of these pens. I actually have enough Menopur for 12 days. I'm not sure why I have more Menopur, but I'm sure there's a reason. But so I'm not really sure when to expect, you know, to actually trigger. So my first ultrasound is actually not until a week after my baseline. And I've heard on this protocol that a lot of times it kind of starts out slow, that you, in the beginning there doesn't seem to be too much going on, and then everything happens all at once. So it'll just kind of be interesting to see what happens, because I really don't know what to expect with these. So when I'm done with those, hopefully everything will go well and I will be triggering. This is Pregno. This is the same trigger that I've used in the past. This one has to be mixed, but it's really simple. On our last cycle, this was my least favorite medication actually. I found that the injection site got really tender, and I got like a really, you know, a lot of redness around it, and it just kind of burned, and it was just really sensitive for about 2 days afterwards. I guess that's normal, but it was the only one that I really had pain with. It didn't hurt when I was injecting it. Actually, none of the injections really hurt when you do them, but this is the only one that I really had any sensitivity afterwards. And then I still have I didn't have to buy this again because I didn't use it last time, but I have Injectable Progesterone. This is intramuscular, so this is what I'll be on, you know, after the egg retrieval. I also have some endometrium suppositories that my doctor's office gave me last time. My doctor told me to hold on to those, you know, because he said sometimes they switch you off of if your levels are really good, they might switch you off of this and maybe onto the suppositories. So if I already have them, you know, then I don't have to buy anymore. But yeah, so that's pretty much it. It's pretty simple. I'm not really sure, again, what to expect in terms of how long I'll be stimming and all that sort of stuff, but I'm just going to kind of see how it goes. Not really going into it with any expectations. I'm just hoping that it works better than last time. So I'll let you guys know what happens at my baseline. That is going to be next week on May 19th, so it's coming up very quickly. So yeah, if all goes well, I'll be starting in a little over a week. I will be starting my injections. So crossing my fingers that everything goes well and I will keep you guys updated throughout the cycle. Bye.